How is it going, guys? Drew Peacock here, back with another video. And if you follow me on Instagram, then you already know what's going on. But I'm moving once again, and that's why the content hasn't been the usual stuff. I haven't been able to spend days working on my cars because I've been out house hunting, looking at a bunch of different properties, and we finally secured one. So we're gonna be leaving this place, although I do like this place. All of my roommates just graduated college and they are moving back home because they're not from around here. So instead of paying for this 5-bedroom home myself, we're moving elsewhere. I'm super excited for it. I can't wait. It's the content over there is going to be so much nicer because I'm going to have my own setups and stuff. You'll see. It's going to be super cool. Hopefully I'm there today. But anyways, today we're going to be talking about some hot takes in the car scene. And I know this is already going to boil people's blood, but these are my personal opinion. These are my hot takes. If you agree with me, let me know down below. If you disagree, let me know also. Anyways, let's dive right in. First one. Miatas are overrated. 100% agree. I'm sorry. Miatas are cool if you're like a teenager or you're a hardcore track guy. But when you're a teenager trying to act like a hardcore track guy, they're not cool. When all you do is put on some rep wheels and some cheap lowering springs and say it's a track build and how this thing would keep up with Ferraris and Lamborghinis and stuff like that, it won't. It's not going to do that. The 1.6, the 1.8, it's not going to do that. If the guy doesn't know what he's doing, maybe, but you're not keeping up with much around a track. They're extremely slow. Those things need to have a lot of work tossed into them to be able to do what they need to do. They're very capable cars right out of the box as long as they don't have 200,000 plus miles on them and they aren't abused. But we already know that they are. Most of those cars nowadays, you're paying $5,000 plus for a 200,000 mile Miata with bushings blown on every corner, and the steering is as loose as your granny's private parts. I feel like a lot of people just buy Miatas because it's like the easiest go-to car guy car. It's like, it's a Miata, look at it. It's a Miata, it's a fun car. And in reality, it's like, it's a Miata. If you want a real track car, buy a Corvette, end of story. Again, I'm not saying Miatas aren't capable, they are, but a lot of people just buy them just because it's the easiest car guy, track car, I don't know. It's the easiest car to say, I'm slow and I don't care, because it's meant to be on a track anyways. No, it's whack. I honestly think Vets are much better and much more capable. Obviously a different price point, but you could buy a C5 Corvette for pretty damn cheap. My buddy just picked up a C5 Corvette for like $4,000 and it works. It has a little bit of some front end damage, but he's fixing it. And that's cheaper than most Miatas nowadays. So there's no argument to be had here. Anyways, next hot take, and this one, hopefully you guys agree with me on. There's car guys and then there's car enthusiasts, and there is a big difference between the two. In my opinion, a car guy is somebody who has his cars, works on his cars, enjoys working on his cars, and that's what he's into. That's his thing. Instead of going out and clubbing and going and drinking, you could still do both. There's no reason you can't. But he enjoys working on his cars, driving his cars. He gets satisfaction from that. Car enthusiasts enjoy the car scene lifestyle. They like having a cool car, but they're not going to go change their head gasket. They're not going to pull their motor. They're not going to do their clutch. Those are car enthusiasts. Those are guys that enjoy cars and they like going to car meets and looking at them, but they're not a car guy. They're not a guy. They're not a wrencher, you know? They're not a gearhead. And I'm not even sitting here saying that one is worse than the other. You don't have to work on your car, in my opinion, to be a car guy. You could literally research and know everything there is to know about cars and not work on your car, and that's completely fine. You could be the most knowledgeable guy on the LS platform or the 3-valve platform or whatever platform, and you don't have to work on your car. There's no problem with not working on your car. There's just a difference. Typically, however, I would say that car enthusiasts typically are just like the trend. They're just like the pop culture. They know the surface level stuff. Yeah, I know what a Supra is. Yeah, I know Lamborghini. I know Ferrari, supercars, JDM. They just know the hot terms. And that's kind of where I would say one of them is a little bit more entry level and one of them is a little bit more up there. But again, don't think that, oh, since I'm into cars, I have to work on my car. You don't have to. I started out, I wasn't a huge wrencher. I enjoyed working on my V6 when I had it. First mods I ever did, headers, intake. First thing I ever did to the car. And it was fun. It was a fun car. It got me learning how to wrench. And now I pull motors on the Supra yearly because I always just want to update and freshen up some stuff. Anyways, next hot take. Hellcats, overrated. I think I've already mentioned this, maybe not. Pretty obvious, they've been overrated. 707 horsepower, that feels like 500. Hella overrated. nowadays, you know, you can get the red eye and you can get the jailbreak or the super stock or whatever, and there's a whole different trim level subcategory of all different Hellcats. But in general, Hellcats are overrated. They're just way too damn heavy. They're cool and their potential is you know, phenomenal, but buying a Hellcat right out of the box on the all seasons that they come on, you're not doing much. I'm sorry. Like 500 horsepower, 400 horsepower in a Honda Civic, you're losing. It's embarrassing. It is what it is. I know that's going to upset some people because Hellcats are really trendy right now, but it's just the facts. I mean, 707 horsepower car is not shit really in today's standards anymore. It was cool when it came out because that was like the benchmark that everyone wanted to beat. I remember when me and all my buddies were building our JZs, we were like, oh, we just got to be able to beat Hellcats. We just got to be able to beat them. And now it's like, that was kind of easy. It was only 500 horsepower to beat them. So let's go beat every other fast guy out there. So yeah, once again, very cool cars, highly capable, just in their stock version. You roll off the lot with a stock Hellcat. It's not that cool. It's definitely cooler than anything else Dodge sells though. It's definitely cooler than like a Scat Pack or an RT. So don't, you are 10 times cooler than them, but I'm just saying, like, it's not that tough. All right, this next one might seem a little contradictory to a point I made earlier, but just because you modify your car, that doesn't make you a car guy. And that's typically because the modifications you're doing aren't modifications. I mean, sort of. Okay, yeah, you tossed in a K&N filter. Ooh, yeah, I got an intake on my BRZ. I'm fast. No, you're not. Oh, but I tossed on wheels. Okay, and so do everyone else that blew their tire on the side of the freeway. That doesn't mean you're a car guy. I'm sorry. But what about my wrap that I installed that it looks like dog shit? Sorry, once again, putting a giant sticker on your car doesn't make you a car guy. Like these surface level things that a lot of, sad to say, TikTokers do. There's a lot of TikTokers out there that are building their car. Huge, guys, welcome to my channel, Huge Transformation. Today we're going to be blacking out my grill on my car. I'm super excited. Let's go. Like all that stuff. Like, is that, like, we're just, no. In my opinion, that would fall more under car enthusiasts, and I guess if you want to blur the lines, who cares? But in my own opinion, if your mod list is tint, a radio, plasti dip grill, wrap, and some wheels and an intake, maybe a muffler delete, that's not a build. That's not even, you're not a car guy. That's a car enthusiast. You enjoy the persona and you like the idea that you're modifying your car, but you're doing it the cheapest way possible. And I know everyone doesn't have $1 million in their bank account. I for sure don't, but you could still modify your car and get away with it and do it right and not break the bank. But yeah, that one, I'm just kind of tired of seeing that on TikTok where like these people are just doing like nothing to their cars, and it's like, yep, there's 1 million followers. Like, all right, whatever, I guess. So yeah, just because you modify your car doesn't make you a car guy. Sorry, needed to be said. Last one, and I know people are gonna say I'm being a little defensive here, but it's just true. I'm sorry. Okay, after owning one, I know it's true. Supras are overhated. They're overhated. I was one of the bandwagoners that, why would you buy one of these? These are this 90s shitbox. It'll never be as nice or as fun as a modern day car. This thing's a piece of garbage. It's an overpriced memento that is just, it's dirt, and it's not. I definitely don't agree with modern day Supra prices. However, the car itself, if you can find one, it's a really good car. It is like Toyota built the shit out of this car. I'm doing just about 800 wheel horsepower, and I've been doing it for years on this block. Will it last forever? Probably not, but nothing does. But years of 800-ish wheel horsepower on a unopened stock JZ from the 90s? I'm sorry, but these cars are just vastly overhated. I think they're vastly overpriced too. I definitely would not pick up an NA Supra for $50,000. You are smoking some good crack on that. But the car is very capable. I think a lot of people hate on this car because of just now how unobtainable they are. And I think I would still be on that bandwagon if I hadn't bought mine right before prices jumped up. Because yeah, it does make me upset that like now not a lot of people will be able to experience this car because they're just so stupid expensive now. Like if you want a Supra, you're shelling out 40 to 50 grand on something that came out 30 years ago. Like that, you know, it was a fucking, It's a Japanese car, man. Why are we shelling out almost 50 grand for that? You could buy a brand new Mustang GT, the new S650, for like the same price as one of these. Like, what? And then once you get it, you got to go through the whole car because every bushing is going to be fucking smoked because they're 30 years old. Yeah, I would be upset too, and I understand why people do hate on them. I think the 12-year-olds did kind of overhype them. I don't think they're as legendary as those people say. But the cars themselves are legendary. Anyways, yeah, I think they're definitely overhated nowadays. Whenever I see like lists on TikTok or Instagram, what's a car that you would delete, or what's a car that is overrated, or something like that. Usually they list the Mark IV. But yeah, I agree. Car's definitely overpriced, but it's definitely overhated as well. If this car was $20,000, $30,000 still, nobody would be hating on it because it's a super obtainable car and you don't have to work for 2 years to save up money to buy one. Like, I completely understand the negativity around this car, but the car deserves the praise that it has. I can just tell you that from owning one. I mean, just the fact, 800 horsepower, motor's fine, the stock axles are fine, the rear end is fine. Like, everything on this car is just overly engineered to where it's capable. It's crazy. I don't know. Anyways, that is my list of a couple hot takes that I agree and or disagree with. I think I agreed with all these, but regardless, let me know your thoughts down below. Am I wrong for any of these? You can completely argue me down below. Anyways, I'm gonna go move the rest of my shit. Subscribe, and until next video, peace.